Hey friends, welcome to the show. It's me, Curtis. There's this saying, uh, give people their flowers while they're alive. Not only so they can see them, also smell them. I'm starting the show out today with a friend of mine who is very much alive, Miguel Godinho. His brother and some of his co-workers from the Presidio Trust threw him a retirement party a week or so ago out at Indian Valley. And, I love Miguel. He's traveled to Georgia with me to play at a golf tournament there. We went to New York. We've gone to so many places and played golf together. And he's just an incredible human being. So I thought it'd be a good idea just to capture some of the, what his friends thought of him. And one of the things I love about this show is that he has friends speaking in English and in Spanish, and it's just a beautiful multicultural day celebrating an incredible human being, Miguel Godinho. And I've talked about him, and I say to people, Miguel's my hero. He's one of those people that, I would love to write a book about Miguel's life, and he is loved all over the world. Hope you enjoy the first part of the show. It's about Miguel Godinho 1. He has a son, Miguel 2, and a grandson, Miguel 3. And I love them just as much as I do their pop. After we finish the little salute to Miguel, we're going to finish up our visit to Hyde Park at the Roosevelt Museum. Hope you love this as much as I do. Peace, spread love. Enjoy.
I think that's her just pulling up.
All right, this is our first interview with Felix Godinho. This is Miguel's older brother, right?
Yeah, older brother by a lot.
So, all right, tell us about your brother.
Oh, he's nonstop.
Nonstop.
He's 64 years old, going about 12.
I love it. I love it. Hey, why'd you do this for him?
Just because, everybody knows Miguel. Eric contacted me, and, we decided to put this little thing together. I was supposed to be actually in El Salvador, but I'm waiting for tonight to fly after.
Love it. Thanks, big brother.
Yeah, you got it.
Felix is really the younger brother, but hey, that's all right. All right, now,
That's
tell
what it is.
us about Miguel and what's his brother?
Miguel, you can use it's double S. It's no size. It's a super special guy.
I love that.
That's
Thank you,
it.
brother. And your name?
Marvin.
Marvin.
Yes, sir.
All right, my brother. Oh, come on now. Just give us quick Miguel story. First, your name, brother.
Steve.
Steve.
Working in the pro shop.
All right.
Play a lot of golf with Miguel.
And what's the least favorite thing about Miguel?
There isn't one.
I love that. Thank you, brother.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
you.
Second,
Little stories about Miguel. Your name is?
Jeff Park.
Jeff. So tell us about Miguel. What do you think about that brother?
Well, I think he doesn't play golf very good, and he's always late. He comes running up to the tee box at the last minute with one shoe on.
All right, now tell everybody why we love this dude, though.
Why do we love him?
Yeah.
Because he's a good plumber.
I love that. Thanks. 3, 2, 1.
Oh man, that's
Your name?
Selvin.
Selvin.
I've known Miguel for the last 20, close to 23 years.
How's his golf game?
Well, I know him at work, and I know some of his, his golfing. I hear he's one of the best golfers out here.
Fantastic. How about as a friend?
As a friend, I tell you, he's a unique human being.
Love that.
He would give you. He makes sure you have something before he has it. You know what I mean?
Amen. I love that. ¿Español?
Español,
Say
sí.
something in español?
Miguel, la mejor persona que conozco, la mejor personalidad, el mejor ser humano, buen corazón.
I love that. Thanks, brother. Hell, if you know him, if you don't, just say, he's a butthole. No, I'm kidding. All right, anything about Miguelito?
Tafuna Yopu, I miss you, brother. Thank you for all the knowledge you showed me. So,
And your name, brother?
Tafuna Yopu.
Tafuna. Curtis. Nice to meet you.
T.
All right, love it, brother. All right. 3, 2.
Miguel, good luck in the future. It's fun working with you for the last 25 years.
I'll see you out there, Max. I'm with you.
Good job, bud.
And your name, big brother?
Gary Newell.
Gary, nice to meet you. Curtis.
Hey Miguel, good luck. Learned a lot. Love working with you, and hope we'll see you on the course.
All right, and your name again, brother, is?
Rick Howell.
Rick, thanks, Rick.
Miguel, best of luck to you. Jason, Friday. Remember Miguel's first day at Presidio. It was beautiful. He stuck up in the attic. 558 is a terrible job. I'm sure he remembers it. But love you, Miguel. Appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks.
So you finally made the day, and it's about time too, pal. You've been talking about it for too long. This is the Scottish Assassin.
The Scottish Assassin. I love it.
Miguel A. Brendas Diaz, my friend. I loved working with you the last 22 years. You're a great guy. Enjoy your time off with the family, and we'll have many more days on the course. All right.
I love it. Thank you, guys. Lito. So, what are you gonna say about his retirement party?
Oh my God! Congratulations, Theo. You finally did it. I know you're never gonna stop working, though.
Right.
So, I love you, and thank you so much for always being amazing.
I love it.
And he loves to teach all of us about it whenever he has a chance.
Fantastic. And from top to bottom, that's
I'm Cody.
Chisenia, Amelia, Maria.
I'm
your
Curtis.
little sister?
I know. I'm Curtis. I don't think we met at Mom and Dad's house way back in the day.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a rocking chair. I bought him up there. So sign the rocking chair. There's a card in there. I got him a rocking chair.
Did him? You knew that?
What? No?
What? You know they were coming?
No?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it. Felix, I think the deal, you know, like us coming to it.
Yeah, I guess.
Felix didn't know we were coming.
Felix is like the mayor out here. You want to take around to the right to the first thing?
Yeah.
No, I got it. He's driving my car. He's driving his car.
Okay,
Yeah?
go down over there.
Yeah, come on. Where your clubs, Pop? Grandpa?
Do you want to write down?
Felix, this is great, man. I'm about to cry. I'm about to cry.
Are you gonna play? Yeah, probably a couple. Oh, awesome. I didn't know that.
I gotta play a few holes because I gotta get ready. I gotta take
You're
it out
leaving
tonight.
today, no?
I'm leaving tonight, yeah.
All right, I've been collecting stories about your Pop. Anything you want to say about?
Start over there.
I already got them. I got everybody. But you.
Oh, JM.
All right, JM, talk about Grandpa.
A story?
Anything.
You go first.
I've got a lot, but I'm not ready to cry.
Hey, I'm about, Belen, I'm about to cry watching this. I'm choking up. This.
Well, how about when we go down there?
We'll do. I've gotten all the guys, so I'm gonna put the video together when I get home, and then.
I almost canceled. What the hell? Where you been? See, guys. Holy shit. I said, what if everybody's canceled? What's the pal? Holy shit. We're all waiting in the clubhouse for you.
And he's about to cancel. You believe he's about to cancel on us, right?
I was about to cancel. I said, I'm not going to play golf.
We reserved the whole course.
I was going to play different golf courses.
Working. Miguelito Gordino, I got to tell y'all, this is his family, my family, his friends. Now you're my friends.
Co-workers, whole
Co-workers.
and friends.
Y'all know how much you love this dude and care about him. And I want to share with you, and thanks Felix for putting this together, giving us a shout out to be able to celebrate a man that's everywhere we go, whether it's New York, Georgia, San Francisco, somebody knows this dude. I'm serious. I mean, and y'all know the heart he has and the way he loves his friends and his family, and you know the little stories that we collected. I can't wait for him to get a chance to see that. So thank y'all for coming out to celebrate this man's life, work, family, friends. You want to say something, my brother?
No, I'm thankful for all these surprises they gave it to me, and thanks to my family, my friends, and I love them all. Even my older sister came here, and Felix, thanks for setting it up. I don't know if it did, but you know,
Yeah.
I just said, just make the time a little bit later. My daughter said, we can't do it. So I had to write to say, I'm not on time. And Rick, thanks to see you over there with all the co-workers. Thank you all. And let's have fun, huh?
Yeah.
Go.
All right,
Miguel.
Miguel. Yeah.
Good, huh?
I know.
Miguel, brother.
I said,
You even got me out here, man.
no, my daughter goes, let's go. I got a tea time for Wednesday. Can you play with JM with my grandkids? I can say no to the grandkids, take a day off. And all of a sudden, we were up in Santa Rosa. She said, we gotta go because we got tea time. I said, it's Wednesday. Let's just go play a little later. We can't be late.
We can't be
I
late.
was laughing when I saw you yesterday at the end of the game, Miguel.
Yeah.
When you told me you were taking the day off.
You
When you told me, like, hey, we gotta go golfing.
Hey, thanks for coming over. The whole Presidio shut down today.
Yeah.
They said it'll run fine without us. We'll see how
We'll see what happens, right?
Plumbing's easy, Miguel.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, buddy.
All right, we love you, Miguel.
Thanks, bud.
Robert Eric's up there too.
Yeah, I saw the plate. And then you have a bunch of hackers up there, huh? Thanks to everybody. Thanks whoever set it up. I don't have no idea what was going on here.
All right, who's teeing off first? Everyone, this is Miguel Godinho. We call this his high tee.
Mira, look at that.
He calls it
That's a
high.
high tee.
This is high tee, like the British do.
That's pretty high there.
Mira.
Who's up next?
You hit that perfect.
Look at it, off the screwdriver.
Una historia de mi compadre Miguel, mi cuñado, a todos y que estén bien.
Gracias. Let's get a photograph, Miguelito. Arriba, Miguelito!
You were late here.
Hey, like you always do, man. What we did, we're gonna do. I figured you won't lose. If I had used them, I would have lost the ball.
Arriba, Miguelito! Arriba, Miguelito!
The Roosevelt era really set up our times in so many ways in terms of the role of government and the relief of poverty. But at the same time, so much was left undone and still remains to do.
It was a watershed in terms of the struggle for equal rights. Even though people's objectives weren't always necessarily achieved, the foundation was built.
It's really important that we have this reflection on not only the plight of African Americans in this country, but how leaders have responded to that plight. How have they been able to use the levers of power to support communities of color, to support the African American community, or did they shy away from it?
Until the Roosevelt era, there was no discussion about ending segregation, discrimination, lynching. And lynching in those days was a community celebration. I mean, the whole town would come out to watch somebody be tortured and lynched.
It's very hard for people now to understand how absolutely routine the worst virulent kind of racism was in those days. I mean, it was the low point of black life in the United States after Reconstruction.
I, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, do solemnly swear.
When President Roosevelt gets in, he's inaugurated, he has his vision about democracy, about the role of government. And to do that, you had to confront the problem of segregation. Southern Democrats were the strongest obstacles to this vision. So the South really became a battleground during this period.
Roosevelt was a great politician, and he had a very good sense of what he could and could not do, especially with a Congress which was run almost entirely by Southern congressmen and senators whose support he desperately needed for the other parts of the New Deal.
It's almost like a bet that he made that the future of the party is not going to be in these Southern segregationists. The future of the party is going to be among these African American voters, and we need to address that.
Until Roosevelt, black people voted for the Republican Party, the party of Lincoln. And he was determined to change that, and he did enough so that that change happened.
By 1934, the midterm, marginally African Americans profited from the stability that Roosevelt was able to achieve. Even though criticisms of what was not being done were loud and well-informed.
I think the transformation of 1936 of black voters coming into the Democratic Party in large numbers, that's felt most directly in northern states where there are no restrictions on voting. And the black vote becomes the balance of power in many cases. By the end of the 1940s, African Americans are a major and active part of the Democratic Party coalition. So that's a tremendous transformation in the space of a decade.
You needed the African American community to sort of make that switch, to make the Democratic Party significantly turn toward thinking about communities other than white, Southern, Jim Crow, segregationists.
This is the point where the Democratic Party, the National Democratic Party, becomes an arena of the civil rights struggle. And that will continue from the 30s on through the 1960s.
As the Democratic Party became more urbanized, became more centered around this Northeastern voter, it became very clear to Franklin and to Eleanor that they needed to do more for these communities, for these new Democratic voters.
I think it's essential that people learn that it is individual people that really matters. It's not the color of their skin.
Eleanor Roosevelt had associates within the black community. She took that very seriously, that she was the first lady of the whole country. And she was open to talking and working with black activists and bringing in black voices into the federal administration.
She insisted on FDR meeting civil rights leaders. She became very close to Martin Cloud Bethune. She quit the Daughters of the American Revolution because they wouldn't let Marian Anderson sing at their Constitution Hall.
She flew with the Tuskegee Airmen and said it was great to fly with these splendid pilots who were doing such brave and important work.
The ability to create these relationships with African American leaders wasn't policy, but it showed the country that this community is welcome into the White House. They are voters, they are equals.
We are rising out of the darkness of slavery into the light of freedom.
How I see this period is that there's an opening in terms of political possibilities, political participation, something that's encouraged by the Roosevelt administration. The last Democratic administration before Franklin Roosevelt was Woodrow Wilson. And Woodrow Wilson instituted segregation throughout the entire federal government. Roosevelt's administration really increased the number of African Americans working in the New Deal.
Black Americans occupied advisory capacities at a higher number than had ever been seen before and throughout the administration. For white policymakers in a certain portion of the Roosevelt administration, their ideas is just to have black federal advisors as window dressing. But black Americans created those opportunities. And then once black Americans got within the administration, they pressured for an expansion.
In my view, what the Roosevelts did was lay the groundwork for what other presidents would take advantage of eventually. Roosevelt was intentional about reframing the judiciary. And we see that going through the civil rights era, including the court that eventually decided Brown versus Board of Ed.
There are basic bread and butter issues that were really important that I think have had a lasting impact. Funding education, scholarships, HBCUs, job training, opening up new jobs to Black Americans that they had been excluded from, pressuring the union movement to become integrated. What lasts in the New Deal is the philosophy of the New Deal, which is that the federal government's responsibility is to safeguard all American citizens in times of crisis. It's to protect you from an economic downturn and to give you an understanding that that's not your fault. The idea that Black Americans needed to be included in the New Deal, that was a lasting impact too. The problem was that they never went far enough and deep enough to really touch the tremendous needs of the Black community.
And so while there are programs that are helping a lot of white voters and white Democrats in this country, the challenge now is African Americans seeing these pieces of legislation, seeing this New Deal get built and rolled out. Time after time, there are barriers being constructed so that they can't actually take part in some of these programs.
Currently, there's still institutional racism and segregation that in many ways you could trace back to the failures of the New Deal. One of the probably greatest failures was in terms of housing.
The New Deal enacted housing policies to try to help the construction industry, to help Americans get mortgages. But these policies included what was known as redlining, distinguishing where mortgages could be insured, excluding African American housing or integrated housing, so really helping to reinforce housing segregation patterns.
So while the recovery went according to plan, if you were a white voter, for an African American in this country, what you were experiencing were the seeds of the wealth disparity that we see even to this day.
Buying a home in the 1940s, owning it over decades, right? Its value increases enormously. To be denied access to that has tremendous consequences for African American families. What happens to these largely urban communities that are not able to move out? Overcrowding, increasing poverty, poor schools. So it really helps segregation become more entrenched in urban areas in the post-war period up through the 60s and beyond.
If we think about the kinds of inequality that we experience in this country, whether you think about income inequality, educational equity, all of these disparities are there partly because of what Roosevelt was not able to do.
Before the New Deal, most people's contact with the government was the post office. That was about it. And the New Deal, for good or ill, radically changed that. And the government is now connected to us in all sorts of ways.
I think what Roosevelt did, and he did it with the African American community, he found a way to bring everybody into his home, into his way of thinking, and it made people believe that they all had a part in governance, which we all do.
I think the sense of political possibility, 1945, it's at a high point, and that bodes well for the struggle to really push down these barriers, to create the political coalitions that can help transform the Democratic Party and make it a force for economic and political justice in this country.
What we're seeing now is a fear brought about by the increasing numbers of African Americans and Latinos and Asian voters who are being mobilized around some of these same issues. And as a response to that fear, we're seeing more doors closed than are being opened across the country.
Each generation has different challenges, and I think what history shows that there's a lot of backsliding. You know, you make change, you get change, and there's resistance. I think another thing activists in the 60s and the activists of the New Deal era have in common is a faith in democracy. As messy and hard work, but a faith in democracy that you're gonna make it work.
Without protest and agitation, things do not change. That's as true today as it was then, I think.
Eleanor Roosevelt essentially said, no one person can do this alone. We need to build community. We need to go door to door, block by block, community by community, and get people with the movement. It's not enough just to speak about it. We have to do something about it.
reforms push FDR to take bolder action. In this speech, he responds with a massive jobs program and a revolutionary piece of legislation, the Social Security Act.
The program for Social Security that is now pending before the Congress is a necessary part of the future unemployment policy of the government. We must begin now to make provision for the future. And that is why our Social Security program is an important part of the complete picture. It proposes, by means of old age pensions, to help those who have reached the age of retirement to give up their jobs and thus give to the younger generation greater opportunities for work, and to give to all, old and young alike, a feeling of security as they look towards old age. The unemployment insurance part of the legislation will not only help to guard the individual in future periods of layoff against dependence upon relief, but it will, by sustaining the purchasing power of the nation, cushion the shock of economic distress. Provisions for Social Security, however, are protections for the future. Our responsibility for the immediate necessities of the unemployed has been met by the Congress through the most comprehensive work plan in the history of the nation. Our problem is to put to work 3.5 million employable persons, men and women, who are now on the relief rolls. We are losing no time in getting the government's vast work relief program underway, and we have every reason to believe that it should be in full swing by the autumn. I call upon my fellow citizens everywhere to cooperate with me in making this the most efficient and the cleanest example of public enterprise the world has ever seen. It is time to provide a smashing answer for those cynical men who say that a democracy cannot be honest, cannot be efficient. If you will help, this can be done.